of kilojoule.
Out of bounds. Polk on the turnaround against ball. Derek Polk shoots that shot so well. He's very, very tough to stop when he takes that turnaround jumper. 126 to 103. But the Sonics want to score in a hurry. There's 5.5 minutes to go in the ball game. But things that have to go terribly wrong for the Cannons to do any damage. Baseline jumper from Herb McGeechan, and the defense really dropping out as we watch this game wind down.
Well, the Cannons really are getting any shot that they want in 15 foot and in. So if you give up those type of shots, you're not going to win too many games.
Dufelmeyer, look for the pass on this. What's he going to do? He's got Smythe on his left. A little pump in the air and a return pass to Dufelmeyer, finding room along the baseline. Block shot there from Derek Polk.
Herb's there again.
Herb running it down. 3-point shot here from Tad Dufelmeyer off the glass was a little hard. As the Sonics bring it away only into the hands of Phil Smythe for a steal. Gary Ball for the hole. 2 points ball. 128 to 103.
Again, very sloppy play there by the Supersonics to give up that possession.
Well, the Canberra Cannons getting some substitutes ready. As underneath that shot from Darren Shaw was blocked down to Smythe. Into the hands of Simon Cottrell, and a big dunk on the end of it. 132 to 103.
Cannons really on a roll at the moment, aren't they, Phil?
In the background, the Cannons lining up at the barrier waiting to come in as Audie Matthews fires off for 2. And I think we'll see a mass substitution off the Cannons bench pretty shortly. Herb McGeechan, he loves this game. Return pass to Smythe. Oh dear, they're scoring at will. It's a shame to see this game end in this way because the Sydney Supersonics played it so tough so early that the Cannons have really knocked the stuffing out of them. 134 to 105, and that'll be a Sonics ball as it came off Tad Dufelmeyer. Here comes those subs I was talking about.
Ken not too happy with his club at the moment, but once Redland went out, I think the big turning point in this game was in the third quarter when Mel Dalglish came in and did a job on Redland, and Herb McGeechan scored 3 buckets in a row.
Let's see if the Sydney Supersonics can finish this game with their heads up as Audie Matthews keeps on going and draws a foul out of the defense in the shape of Simon Cottrell.
Yeah, he went up to Brisbane and, like you said, retired, but the Supersonics in desperate need of another player, so they enticed him back to Sydney, and he's given them a lot more depth.
He was part of that championship winning team for the Brisbane Bullets, so he's got a championship to his credit, and of course a number of the Cannons have too when they won the league in 83 and 84. But here's a long pass to Tim Morrissey. Up over the left shoulder, didn't go down. It was pretty much a shot in hope rather than expectation. And 3.5 minutes to go, 134-108.
I think he was looking for that foul. The referees called every other one. They thought they were going to call that one too.
Yeah, the defense just hung off him as Polk working against Steve Grock and can't score, but the rebound grabbed in the end by Tim Morrissey as Dalglish comes away with it. And he looks at the numbers and didn't decide they were too good, but Grock has a chance to score as he goes along the baseline. Wasn't a particularly good shot though, as Matthews brings it away for the Sonics.
A bad angle, Phil, that's all it was.
This is tough to score from behind the board. Bruce Hope. Benton trying to post up there with Polk as Polk comes out and sets a screen, and good defensive help there from the Cannons. In there to Sval Dennis though, and Audie Matthews there. I think everybody was waiting for a whistle there. None was forthcoming, so Audie Matthews went right on and scored with it.
Just a case of play on. No blood yet.
134 to 110 as Steve Grock scores his points. First points of the ball game for him. Doesn't get a lot of opportunities to play for the Cannons. A pretty prominent member of the Canberra Colts lineup. Cottrell almost losing it there, but Morrissey has it in safe hands, and this is Steve Grock again. Outside the 3-point line, Mel Dalglish won't take the shot, but Simon Cottrell will. And we've got a foul that's gone against Grock, and this will probably put Derek Polk on the line at the other end to shoot 1 and 1.
It's always good to win on the road, and the Cannons would be happy with this win because they haven't had to expend a whole lot of energy. As you see, 3 of the starters on the bench at the moment, and they play a tough game tomorrow night. Even though Newcastle's on the bottom of the table, it's going to be a difficult game for them.
So Simon Cottrell out and Gary Ball back as Scott Fenton, who's just come back into the game for Bruce Hope, comes right back in and waltzes up for a 3-pointer.
He hasn't stopped shooting those all night. Same spot too, from that right side 3-point area.
136 to 113. Morrissey looks to the screen from ball, but was a little wide. Couldn't loosen him up, but Dalgleish has a three-point attempt, and Mel Dalgleish hard off the iron. Gary Ball followed it up well.
This will bump their average up, Phil. Everybody will think they're a top-scoring team now.
Yes, they're averaging 106 points a game offensively, this team.
Well, the thing they don't realize is that every game that they play, you know that they're going to play defense, and again, that stems from Coach Jerry Lee, who's noted to be one of the best defensive players ever to come out to this country.
Yes, it's been a fairly open game with 115 points scored by the Sonics. Intentional foul called against Kenny, and all fairly academic with just 15 seconds to go. Tim Morrissey lining up the free throw line, but I guess Tim needs the practice from the strike.
He needs the practice. He got 2 free ones, so no players around. He just like at practice. There you go, nice and relaxed. I remember last year we did a lot of work with Tim on his shooting, and in practice he'd hit 10 out of 10, 20 out of 20, 30 out of 30, get in the game and start thinking about it.
Yep, 142 to 115. So the Cannons with the last possession, one would think, of the ball game. Dufermeyer to Drock on the reverse layup was a pretty ordinary old scoop shot from Gary Ball was caught behind the ball. It's still a Cannons ball, 6 seconds to go. So they pump it on the inside, but away come the Sonics. 3 seconds, 2, and will they score? Yes. And the basket counts. The big dunk at the end from Andrews Valdenis ends the ball game. And a big win to the Canberra Mazda Cannons. They look pretty happy about it. There's the score. The Cannons 142, the Sydney Supersonics 117.
Well, certainly a very disappointing loss for the Sonics in front of their home crowd, going down to the Cannons 142-117. A very high-scoring game for both teams, with Canberra going way above their average 106 points per game. Cannons rarely post more than 15 points above their competitors, so a big win for them and a boost to their campaign for the #1 spot in the league. In other games around the country, Perth defeated Illawarra 111-100. That game was closer than it looked, with Illawarra giving Perth a run for their money and leading right into the 4th quarter. Brisbane defeated Eastside Melbourne 97-87. Hobart on 102 defeated Westside Melbourne 92. Adelaide didn't really let Illawarra get their heads above water when they beat them 112-95. Eastside Melbourne beat West Sydney 77-73. These two teams also managed the lowest combined total result this season. Both are very defensive teams, and they weren't letting each other get away with anything. Canberra defeated Newcastle by only 4 points, one of the biggest shocks of the weekend, proving 2 things. Canberra are certainly far from invincible, and Newcastle may be an important deciding factor in the final 6, even if they don't make the finals themselves. Finally, Geelong 132 defeated Melbourne 106. Taking a look at the ladder, Canberra sitting on top there still. One interesting point is that the Cannons haven't lost a single game on the road this season, but that dream run may be broken when they go to Perth and Adelaide in week 13. That should give fans a much better idea of Canberra's standing this season. Certainly their game against Newcastle last weekend revealed a few flaws. The rest of the top 6 are looking pretty stable for now. Illawarra's results on the road have been pretty realistic, and it was expected they'd be sitting in number 2 or 3 spot by now. The only shaky team might be Hobart. The Devils have had a lovely start to the season, but their toughest competition lies at the end of the season when they meet Adelaide and Perth. If the Devils lose their game against West Sydney next weekend, that would leave room for North Melbourne to possibly move up into the 6th, but Hobart have beaten West Sydney before and may well do so again. Next weekend, we'll be featuring the game between Westside Melbourne and West Sydney, 2 of the teams fighting out the bottom 6 spots on the league ladder. Both teams are very evenly matched, with Ken Epperson firing for Westside and Vince Kelly finding similar form with West Sydney, both players scoring 30 plus in their last 2 matches. This clash will be the last chance for West Sydney to keep a spot in the final 6 alive. One more loss and their 87 season will be over. Should prove a good game to watch. Until then, for the sports team, I'm Rebecca Latorno. Good night.